Hey friends, Roast here with another Realm of the Mad God video. Recently, Deca came out with some pretty big news, at least if you are a fan of some of the less popular and some would say less good classes in the game. I'm talking specifically about the Assassin and the Sorcerer. Before I get into too much detail, thank you to those who support me on Patreon. You help make all this possible. If you want to join that list, check out the link in the description. English covered, let's talk about what exactly Deca is changing. So, Assassin is getting looked at because of the three dagger classes of Trickster, Rogue, and Assassin. Assassin doesn't really bring anything to the table. It's supposed to be the damage class of the three. The Assassin has their poison for damage, the Trickster has their decoy for decoying bosses and for teleportation, and the Rogue has their cloak for sneaking around and rushing. So the Assassin is supposed to be the damage roll, right? But because its ability just doesn't do that much damage, and because its attack stat cannot get very high, it ends up not fulfilling the only role that it's supposed to be fulfilling. To fix this, Deca is doing two things. The first is adding percent damage increases to the targets they poisoned for the assassin only. Everybody doesn't get an extra percent damage when something's been poisoned. I think this is a neat change because it'll add additional reward to landing your poisons, and it will make it feel important even if your poison isn't high tier. The second change is that they are adding stat modifiers like they've done for Wizards and Company, so that assassins with high dexterity, wisdom, or even vitality, and I'll pause it when it goes with the Mighty Stein so you can see, if you have high vitality in Mighty Stein, you will have a poison that scales up based on that stat. I think this is hilarious, okay? I love this. This is hilarious, Deca. I don't know how useful it is, but it's hilarious, okay? Vitality maxing for damage, let's go. But this should all significantly boost the assassin's damage, hopefully enough to give them most damage among dagger classes. And this is super important because they currently lack the damage and they don't have the utility that both Rogue and Trickster have. The other class that's also getting reworked is the Sorcerer. Yeah, the other guy that has a wand that's not Summoner or Priest, right? There's a class that's not has a wand, it's not Summoner. Who knew? Crazy, right? Anyways, their rework isn't as big of a change, but it is still significant. And what's going on is that there was a feeling that Sorcerer ability was just kind of missing something. So they're adding an effect called Shock Blast. And it doesn't really make sense to read through it, so I'll show you in just a second. But basically, the effect will mark some of the enemies you hit with your scepter and blast them over time, and enemies near them several more times. So what this looks like here is they cast their ability once, their mana's at 245, and they will tick a few more times, and enemies nearby them will also get blasted. So you can see them tick again, even though they haven't cast their ability again. And so they ticked again without another cast. And then they cast their ability again, and you can stack this up and stuff like that, but yeah, so that's what the Shock Blast looks like in that location. Here it is in the Realm against some Crusaders. So yeah, that's interesting. Scepters are also able to get stat mods now, just like the poisons we discussed. And they're mostly from Wisdom, but there's also at least one from Attack and at least one from Dexterity. These changes shouldn't change the clearing ability of the Sorcerer too much, but at the same time, and I just want to look at one of them. This is the Devastation Staff that has attack modifier now. This will give it more area control and some extra damage from those stat mods. So we'll see how this change goes. But this isn't as much of a big deal as the Assassin, because the Assassin just needed a big buff and a rework, and they got that. And the Sorcerer is just a lot more of a rework / shift than the Sorcerer is a shift / rework, and the Assassin is a lot more of a big buff, because that's what they needed. But yeah, I've linked this blog post below, but for some reason, as you can see, the video embeds, these embeds were originally like here and here. I don't know why they removed them and blocked them. I looked at the source code, and I have found these links, and I've put these links in the description, so if you want to watch those yourself, feel free to do that. Check those out, watch them a million times, but yeah. Thanks for watching the whole video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but until next time, keep it beefy, boys.
Hello there.